Hello everyone. Welcome to the world of magic and fairies. Today our story is about the magical bean. Once upon a time, there was a poor farmer who constantly complained about his misfortunes. One day, an old beggar passed by and asked him,
"What's the matter, sir? Why are you lamenting so?"
I'm almost starving to death, old man. I barely earn enough to buy food for my wife and me. I've been praying for so long, but my wealth hasn't increased a penny. It must be that heaven is too far away to hear my pleas.
Well, don't be sad anymore. Here's a bean. Plant it by your fireplace. It will grow so tall that you can climb it all the way to heaven. Goodbye.
The old beggar immediately disappeared. Although he didn't have much faith in the magical bean, the farmer planted it anyway. 2 days later, the bean sprouted and grew above ground, climbing high above the fireplace, and higher, until it finally disappeared into the blue sky. The farmer climbed up the beanstalk using each leaf as a step. It took him a long time, but eventually, he reached a magnificent field filled with blooming flowers and fragrant aromas. He followed a small path that led to a luxurious castle. This was the home of the fairy who had given him the magic bean. The fairy appeared and asked the farmer why he had come.
I've come to ask you, dear fairy, to please grant me a small house on a hillside and a small sum of money in case of illness.
That's all? Your request is granted. You may return home.
After leaving the fairy's castle, the farmer climbed back down. He found his wife in awe of a beautiful house with many ducks and chickens pecking at grain in the yard. But the farmer's wife's greed took over. She wasn't satisfied with this. She made her husband climb back up to heaven. The farmer obeyed and went before the fairy.
Here you are again. What else do you need from me? Haven't you seen the house and the small fortune I gave you?
I've received all of that, and I would be very happy if my wife hadn't forced me to come back here to ask you for a magnificent castle with gold, jewels, and servants.
If that's what you want, then so be it. But I fear that these things will harm you.
When he returned home, the farmer had a hard time making his way through the crowd of servants and maids bustling about in the extremely splendid living room. He almost didn't dare look up as his beautiful wife, dressed in finery and adorned with gold and diamonds, sat regally among her maids and servants. The ambitious wife was still not satisfied with her status.
Go back up there and see the kind fairy to ask him to make me queen.
I can't do that. I've been up there twice, and that's enough. It wouldn't surprise me if he kicked me out of heaven.
Go on, I want you to go, or else I'll leave you. I've never seen a man so uninterested in pleasing his wife. He'd rather let me die than make me happy. Oh, how miserable I am.
The farmer, extremely upset, had no choice but to climb the beanstalk for the third time. He found the fairy looking very stern. But even so, he had to speak his request directly. And so now he had soldiers and guards attending to him day and night. Every day, ambassadors from other countries came to present gifts. The queen, who could have lived in perfect happiness, was not content. Once again, she made her husband go and ask for the title of God for her. The king had to obey. This time the king almost fainted when he saw the fairy. However, he had no choice but to present his request. As soon as he finished speaking, the king was knocked off his feet and fell from the sky. The farmer fell down, bruised and battered, in front of his old dilapidated hut, and saw his wife in her old rags. The beanstalk was struck by lightning, and the lightning almost destroyed the thatched hut as well. Just like bedtime whispers the day goodbye, our fairy tale has reached its end. Thank you for watching. Good night, sweet dreams, everyone.